Hello and welcome everybody to our recap of the first week of Season 1 of the Thundering Whims Premier League. And with we, I'm talking about myself and Rise Up to the Top. You can say hello.
Hello, I'm Rise to the Top. I'm the manager of the Stalwart Takatas, and today I'm with Shipper because Dinesh is unfortunately sick. We'll be back for next week's recaps, but now we'll have to make do with me and Shipper. So, Shipper, if you would like to kick us off.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go and click on week 1 and we saw on the first matchup was the Uchiha Clan Ursa versus Z Warrior Zebra Strikes. And now we have to look at the team standings. Oh, they are not updated yet. Would you look at that? I'm gonna blame the host for not updating the doc immediately as the week is over.
And, uh, you can check the Discord matchups. You should
Yeah, yeah,
scroll
yeah. I'm
halfway.
gonna I'm gonna click on the Discord matchups then. Blame the hosts. Blame the hosts.
Blame the host. The
Always
host
with
is with
us.
us in the weekly.
But we had one hell of an interesting matchup over here because we saw on the now I'm gonna click on OU again. Now we saw on the matchup on in OU that Memedos has defeated Yippee Dreepy. We had an Uber match between Inder and Neslo, which went to Inder in the end. We had a mono match versus I Am Fans versus the Legends Revamp, which went to the Legends Revamp. We had a Slam Best of 3, which between a Salamence and Crow Music, which went to Crow Music. We had an Anything Goes match between Unicorn and Fritto, which went to Unicorn. We had an OU match between Adam and Era, which, if I remember correctly, is one of our games of the week, so I'm not gonna spoil the result. We had a Sun and Moon OU game as a chosen tier, and between EU and Pokeblader, and that went to EU. And we had an RBY OU game between BT89 and Stitchu, which went to Stitchu. Now, the careful listener would hear it's 3-4 with one game left. So this matchup could have been a tie all over the place. And to find out what actually happened, we probably should look at the matchup between Ara and Adam, which is one of our games of the week.
Um,
I have it open up right now. We should probably start at probably the same time and on normal speed, so we have a bit of time to talk over the match.
yes. Whoa. Give me a second and just load it up. My
Ah,
fault for not loading it up before. One second.
tell me when you're ready.
Um,
While we're having this being set up, as you can see, the teams are on Adam's side. He played with an with a Zapdos Scalar, with a Nihilego, with a Rotom Wash, with a Landorus Terrain, with a Ferrothorn, and a Tapu Lele, versus Ara's team of an Urshifu, Rapid Strike, that is, a Corviknight, a
yeah.
Latios, a Landorus Terrain.
I,
Who would have guessed? Both teams have a Lando. Welcome to OU, everybody. An
yeah.
Amoonguss and Heatran.
Okay. Nantex. First off, matchup wise, we weigh up the two teams. Both have it's a double flying core from Ara, including Lando and Corviknight, suggesting that is a more offensive variant of Lando on Ara's side, and the Urshifu for Ara looks pretty good in the matchup.
Yeah, the Urshifu is probably one of the biggest threats in the matchup.
Yeah,
If you
and
flip that around, though, the Zapdos Scalar can put in big holes in Ara's team, especially
indeed,
especially once you have the Corviknight getting chipped. it becomes really hard because if it's a choice band, you have to predict between Brave Bird and Close Combat, and if you predict wrong, well,
and
just a mon is gone.
you have U-turn for momentum too, so it's basically have to just wait out that Cognite. As soon as it's chipped, basically it's a sacking match. And the Nihilego, again, good potential, yeah, um as as long as the Landorus is reasonably weakened, which is offensive, so I think it should get done from EW.
Yeah,
Are
the
we starting off?
Lego could have problems with the like Aqua Jet revenge kill from Urshifu, and Heatran also
Ah,
might be
indeed.
able to take a few hits left and right, depending on the Heatran set, obviously.
Yeah.
So
So are we
let's get right into the match, and I'm gonna play with music off on normal speed now. So we see the leads are Amoonguss versus Scepter Scalar. Huge favorite for
again
Zapdos,
off
but
on
Corviknight
huge
obviously a
CC
free switching. CC just
and the huge
chunking half
CC?
of HP. This is what I meant. If you predict whether it's gonna click wrong once, well, you could just have a mon basically gone. Even Latios
Exactly. And
resisting
now
takes half
Latios.
HP back. Just gone.
Adam is already in a pole position with the Latios weekend. It's a mega Latios and
With Roost, it's
knockout.
reasonable healthy again. So
Yeah, exactly. And
the main
okay, it's a
question,
great double on Adam's side, but it would also, yep, the
yeah, it should
Covenant gets
probably U-turn out
leftovers.
here.
Yeah, it's got leftovers recovery, meaning it eats the next hit. And Rotom will switches out for momentum.
I love how Rotom's Vault Switch, super effective step, there less damage than the close combat. Just shows the power of
Indeed.
Scepter Scalar. It's really, really strong. And
And Nihilego is
we currently see the typical OU thing, right? People pivoting with U-turn, Volt Switch, trying to find an opening and advantage. Like this huge
exactly.
chunk on Rotom Wash right there from Urshifu. It's just a Pokemon half gun and more. And Lando coming in, taking it cleanly, like 20%, basically took no damage at all.
I think that should be Banded Urshifu and defensive Lando from the damage. And that it's basically just a pivoting match, and basically who gets the breakers in and breaks the earliest.
Yeah,
See,
and the main
a
problem
good,
for Adam's side is the mons he is chipping down have recovery, while his mons,
exactly.
like Rotom, have to rely on Pain Split to heal back up.
He's healed up a healthy chunk, to be honest, and now he's back at almost full. A switch into Landorus and a good predict from Aura. On the prediction side, both players have been going at it, and
Yeah, I would have liked to see a double Spore from Amoonguss here because it's pretty known to run Hidden Power 5, so Ferrothorn was never staying in. Like, if
yeah,
he did a double Spore, that would have been a massive play. But,
good,
like, look at this
yeah,
close combat dealing casually 60%. It's ridiculous damage.
and the Lando can't switch in because it gives it a defiant boost. It
Yeah,
basically gets to it KO. Absurd damn. Oh, it even Latios.
that was a great double again. So, because
Yeah,
Nihilego
he's.
obviously prefers to try to kill this Corviknight. And Corviknight gun is a massive problem for Era's side.
Do we see a Meteor Beam power up right now? Yes, we do. And that's Covenant gone. That is huge. Is now you have free Brave Birds. Tran is not living. Tran is getting to it KO. And um, there's a defensive Lando from
Oh, that
Adam,
was
which I
another
didn't.
just like Pokemon gun.
Huge.
Brave Bird just absolutely claiming names right now.
Indeed. Zapdos is just. The breaking potential is just amazing. Again, Heatran, it couldn't come in properly on the Switch because it would have got to it here. A key factor right now is that
Woo.
Zapdos can't click Brave Bird again.
That was a
Is
great turn for Heatran killing the Rotom Wash, but the Thunderous
yeah,
killing Heatran
it's
means now Brave Bird is super free.
indeed, and that's one kill claim. Oh, that's a mystical fly. Parathon lived a mystical fly, and that is
And that was
Parathon
that's just a
gone.
gun. Yeah.
It's a sack basically. Oh, it's a scarf Lele that crits the Latios, and that is huge. That
Geht
is
es
huge
in
for us,
15 Minuten ungefähr? Ja, mache ich.
and that is offensive Lando from Aura, like I said last night.
I'm back, sorry. Yeah, we're talking about Adam versus Era Ashbala. He's asking in the chat. Alright, so we
And
see the Tapulele also coming in with massive damage.
indeed, and that's basically game over. A good. There was a 50-50 at the turn um, where the Ara stays in on the U-turn. But he didn't, and now he got the U-turn off, and Lele claimed the kill, and now Lele's gonna finish the game.
Yeah, also the repeated intimidate makes the Lando, the offensive Lando, which is probably Scarf, did so
Yeah,
little damage now. I mean, it
and its
has to
only choice
crit
was
with
to
Stone
crit,
Edge. And now it's for the
and
Stone
now
Edge, and
it's
we
run
see its
out.
Scarf.
Yeah, that is basically done.
That was an incredible game, but Adam really pulled out this massive force of Zapdos Scalar and just punched holes into the defense. And the defense wasn't able
Exactly.
to hold up to it at all.
And Lando's
Especially
pivoting
once
was
Corviknight Knight
huge.
died.
Exactly, and letting Covenant go meant Raptors could get free Brave Birds, and Landorus keeps coming in, getting those U-turns off, making pivoting. Pivoting was huge because then Raptors basically breaks down the whole team bit by bit every turn, and it is just much for RS team. And there we go. Adam takes the win, meaning that if you listen carefully, that is a 4-4 tie for the first match, which is incredible and shows you just how competitive these can be.
I just noticed that on the dock it says the winner, so I literally made it interesting for no reason at all. Keck W. Yeah, but we had a tie on the very first matchup that we have covered here now, which
Yeah,
also shows how incredibly close like these teams can be to one another. And for the second matchup, we have the Rhydons versus the Malmatods, which SEC went out 5-3 to the Rhydons. So a pretty close victory, but a victory for the Rhydons in this first week nonetheless. And we see Avi losing to Chites Habaneros in the OU match. We see Amir versus TPC is here. The game in Ubers, and the game goes to Amir. We see in Mono Mixwell versus Plunder, and Plunder takes this game, or this best of three series, because remember, Monotype is the best of three. Then we see on Slam best of three Derp versus Ashbala, and Derp takes victory over Ashbala. Then we have AG, which Chief Z takes the victory over 8142E. On the NetEx OU side, we had Lumpilucaria versus Red Goop, which was won by Red Goop. Then we have Don Columbus versus TGA and the DPP OU chosen tier, and this game went to TGA. And as the last chosen tier between these two teams, it was SSUU, and it went to between Anik and Aquajet. Now,
upset wise, we look into the matchup. Chile's Habaneros beating Abi 6-0, which was amazing, huge for the ride-on, absolutely huge, deciding the week. And again, Anik beating Aquajet in a tier Aquajet normally rules basically. Um, their UU room voice and the UU spotlight play, and it was just huge dubs from the ride-ons. They pulled through that week.
and we have
Uh,
the Gen 4 OU game loaded up for you right here. Also,
yeah,
I'm now streaming it to all the people that are live in chat. I really literally just forgot because I set up this recording and was like, Well, time to get starting to record and forgot that I should probably make it so you can see the games too. So
Indeed.
we have this Gen 4 OU, and I would go over the teams, but we don't see them. Welcome to all gens.
Indeed. The Zoroark influence. See it
so
already.
So what we will do is we just gonna hop right into the match and see what we can able to expect. I will expect at least one team having a T-Tar because it's very popular at the gen, but who knows? So let's get right into it now. And we see a Breloomstar versus Aerodactyl, and
Aerodactyl does.
the
And
typical
yeah, that's
Stealth Rocks turn one.
and
Stealth
yeah,
Rocks
that's
being massive.
indeed because there are no heavy duty boots in this gen. So you're basically taking guaranteed chip. And
And
that's
defog doesn't clear them in this gen. So you basically have to have a rapid spinner if you want to get these rocks gone. And a lot of teams can
and
pack a ghost type Pokemon. And we see the first Pokemon already dropping, like it's like the first from both sides. So it's really
that
going
the
a fast
U-turn from
paced turn so far.
and that is granted Infernape from what it looks like because it gave 80% to the Latios and basically Scizor just finishing
That
with
Stone
the
Edge miss was very unfortunate because it would have done a lot of damage to the Gyarados.
indeed that chip would have been huge because now um, Intimidate is gonna let Gyarados come in on most of the physical members of the team.
And we see Heatran coming in on Scizor, which I would get the hell out of a Scizor too, because that's scary.
And that's the toxic off on the Dragonite, which is huge because now it has limited turns on the field.
But it got its
Protect
second Dragon Dance off on the Protect
in
prediction, which
the
is this Dragonite will deal a lot of damage if it gets to hit. Yeah, that's just the Gun
and that's an
Gyarados.
outrage. That's Life Orb, and so that keeps the chip keeps racking up, and again it's locked in, so that means it gets a free protect.
I mean, the Heatran didn't even have to protect, right? Because it resists anyways. So you get
Yeah,
off,
exactly.
like, either you kill it or you get off the rocks, which are massive this gen, as we said.
And the,
Now, missing
and
the
the
Toxic on Gyarados and it having
that's
set up on the
basically
same turn is also very
it's huge.
unfortunate.
And that's it. Ooh, we see an early forfeit.
And
I
we
think
see
they have probably a Tita in the back, like you said, and another one that
there's
just
a chance they have a Tita in the back, and the miss was just very tough because now you have to hope you have any Pokemon that can take the hit of this massive Gyarados, which also most likely seem to be either a little more on the defensive side, so it's hard to kill, or it's an adamant one which has less speed because Tita outsped it, right? And so either way, either tanks the hits and can just sweep by tanking the revenge killing hits, or just straight up demolishes your face. And so we see the toxic miss at the end really finishing the game
yeah,
off.
tough MU like you can see in the chat, and the toxic miss just makes it incredibly worse. They probably had no one in the back to take those hits at +1,
Yeah,
and yeah, an early
as
forfeit.
soon as your own Gyarados dies, and that is your Gyarados answer, this Gyarados comes in, just sets up, and if you miss Toxic, you're dead. We don't know what the rest of the teams look like. The rest of the team looks like. We're missing two Pokemon for Ride and Love, and we miss one Pokemon for TGA. But it's safe to say this was just very much again the offense breaking the defense just swiftly with U-turn, with good reads, and with setup sweeping, which is so efficient, especially when your opponent doesn't know what's hitting him. Gen 4, you don't know what your opponent is going to bring, and you have to have an answer for everything. And as soon as you're just not expecting a Pokemon to set up on your face, well, that's your wall gun right there.
And that's a early forfeit for the second feature replay, and we now move on to the third one.
But it was a
Third match
really,
is
really well played from TJ to get this advantage and to see the weakness in the defense to even get to this position. Now,
exactly
the last matchup was this. the Stakatakas versus the Wooloos, which, funnily enough, we are both from the Stakatakas. No bias at all in this
Indeed, I was going
review.
to mention this. And we have the manager from the Wooloos right here in the VC.
This is a dream. We have like so many people over here. Okay, so we see in the OU matchup, we see CCN losing to Captain Ikaichi. Then in the Ubers, Nail won versus Holy Krabby. Arctor in the mono tier losing to Nultiprice. Then we have Silver winning versus Omikorio, even though Silver said never played Slam Best of 3. Then you have Swastik
Indeed, and
winning over Assault Destiny. We have in NetDex OU Aladir defeating Martin. In the 1v1 tier, this was the chosen tier for the Stakatakas. We have Torterra winning over Hoenn Septile. And in the chosen tier for the Wooloos, we have RBYOU, myself losing to 48. Because who the hell picks Gen 1 OU?
uh, uh, this is exactly his reaction when the matchup came up. And yeah,
And
tough
yet,
matchup,
this
tough
week, I'm
gameplay.
still thinking Gen 1 OU it is, I guess. So,
Yeah, he's playing it this week too.
and we
Yeah,
decided for these matchups so that we will take a look at the best of 3 between Silver and Omikorio. And we will start with the RU game. And
again,
back to having team preview, which yeah,
okay.
Ashpala agrees with me. He says it's an untier, by the way. Yes, it's
Everyone
actually an
does.
untier. I fully agree. And with team previews, we can actually point out the threats for the teams again. So will you do the honor, rise up to the top and tell us what are the big threats for which side?
Okay, so leading off, that might be a lead aerodactyl on Omicorio's side. That is, since I passed this team to Spectral Secrets, Sub Volcarona looks amazing because every time it comes in, it gets a free sub off and chips or something. That can be on Omicorio's side. The Obstagoon is a huge threat because as long as you get the Cobalion out, Obstagoon just gets a free knockoff every time it comes in. And yeah, and that there are two potential leads for Omicoria in a Sash Roserade and a Sash Aerodactyl. So let's just see where this goes.
Okay, and we will kick off this matchup, and it will be the lead Flygon versus a Crobat. And Flygon,
And that's a scarf. That's a scarf Flygon.
Scarf Flygon, you
Not a
turning
lead
out
there.
Crobat, also not having none of this. And you say
And
Volcanion coming
exactly.
in, and if it's subbed on this turn, it just gets off a massive hit right here, or even a Toxic,
And
which
it
is even more annoying.
toxic, exactly.
Where
And
the
yeah.
natural cure from Starmie right here taking away the Toxic.
And the free hit for Volcanion, and there goes the Aerodactyl. Exactly. The sub coming in key for
Yes, Ashpella pointed out in the chat that Scarf Flygon is very common in RU, which is correct, but it's still good information to have for secrets right here or silver, because having this intel allows you to play different around it. And this
with
Cobalion just
Cobalion and
actually one-shotting with Ironhead. There was no surviving.
no Sash, and yeah, and that's his SD Cobalion. No Scaldburn, and just even more chip, but we could see a recover here. Switch out to Gastrodon.
Or hoping for a squad burn, because we all know 30% is 100% in this game.
Exactly. And there we go. Say Obstagoon is in.
And I have to imagine this is a
It's
resisted against the Registeel, not even a Scooty Pokemon for the tier, and it still takes 25%. But close combat not being able to kill right here is huge. Because as we said,
and now
Obstagoon is a real
now
threat.
and now the thing is, what do you go for here? Because he could switch into Crobat. He gets the double protect, so he can switch into Crobat, and there's a chance that Obstagoon lives. Going for the triple protect doesn't work, and that's Registeel gone. But again, using that obstacle means you lose another breaker, and you really can't break this now, break this team now
Yeah,
because of the Gastrodon.
the team has a lot of defense still around. So as long as Silver stays safe around these Pokemon. Like there's nothing really breaking. As we see, Registeel not taking a single point of damage basically from this Earth Power. Special defense
And
is disgusting.
exactly, and that allows it to get a toxic off, which could be huge. But again, being smart and switching it out. Offensive Cobalion now with SD, so it basically gets a kill here.
Stami coming
Again,
in on the
now
SD allows it to Scald Burn or heal off. That crit was
and
massive
that's a
though.
crit. Massive, yes, exactly. And wait. Now I think it stalls it out now. Unless you see a SD right here.
Yeah, the Cobalion really
Don't.
would have to SD and then not get burned. Which
And it
again,
isn't
it did
getting
get
skull
Scald burned. If he SDs here now
extremely
because the
lucky.
Stami will recover. Now he keeps on hitting. Well, the Stami is just not able to stay at full HP like this.
Here's
And
the
it
thing:
also
you
is
have
the only answer to Volcanion defensively at this point.
exactly,
And
and
this
there's the
close
close combat,
combat,
and yeah, that's
nearly killing.
oh, I didn't see that, and that is huge. Oh, that's very. Now the Stami is almost out of recovers now. It should be low PP, and that is huge damage from Gastrodon thanks to that Storm Drain boost.
Yeah,
And
going for
now,
the Ice Beam, predicting the Flygon switch in on the Earth Power, which is very reasonable, but at this position, I probably not necessary.
exactly, because they have no
And the next
reason
setup
to,
sweeper coming in, setting up Nasty
and
Plot, having the Earth Power, getting the kill.
IFOB, and that should, and that there's the Scarf Flygon, but again, bold predict could have been risky, but again, Volcanion just has no answers, and it can just get a free kill now.
Yeah, now this Flygon will take a lot of damage from Steam Eruption and might get burned.
And a double switch on the. Does this have psychic? It doesn't. It
No, it
didn't
doesn't.
go for it. One edge doesn't kill, and this should be a free kill. Yep.
Yeah,
And
so now
now,
the Starmie is not able to hold up to this much pressure.
and yep, that's a forfeit from Omikorio, and that's
But
game one.
in this position, like Celebi wins, Volcanion
Exactly.
wins with the Toxic. We had half recover Scan already, so there was no way beating this team of the Starmie anymore. Now we go over to the PU game, which has a I have no idea about PU at all. I've never played the tier, but these teams look wild. But they're probably standard for the tier. But if you never play the tier, it always looks so strange. So take it away, Rice. What do you think are the major threats for each side again in this matchup?
The matchup is looking really weird, yeah.
I guess I asked Rice, but man is not talking anymore.
Okay, and
Ah,
that's
no, there he is.
Webs. Okay, yeah. There's Webs Ribombi lead and a
It
Min
didn't
6 1.
start the game, Rice. I asked you what you think are the threats, and you just didn't answer.
Oh, that I must be lagging. Sorry,
And
sorry.
Ashpala said something, and I was like, "Why isn't Rice talking anymore?" All right, so now you. But I'm gonna pause on the first turn, and we will.
That's
So you can talk about what the threats are.
okay. So this Gigalith is probably special defensive because in the sand it's probably eating even a Specs Focus Blast from this Magmortar. So it's a good lead from Silver because he gets free rocks up right here. And from what I see, you can't easily get a defob off because there is a bulk up crafty, and again webs is always a potential threat. And yeah, I think we can always see a specs focus blast coming out, but it's a bit risky considering you lose your breaker early on. Yeah, I think we
Alright,
won
so
that.
we will get right into the match. And turn 1, Magmator versus Gigalith. And it just gets the hell out of there. And that's 3 Stealth Rocks. But Whimsicott coming in
Yeah,
and tricking a choice specs to the Wheezing. That's really annoying for Wheezing.
yeah, that's huge for them. And Sludge Bomb doesn't do
Sludge
anything
Bomb
at all
dealing
to
a
the Pharisee.
total of -5 damage. And we see
And
Stealth
yeah,
Rocks
so
from
that's
the Regirock.
free rocks for both sides. Again, it's a huge toxic up, and we have to see what move it goes for. It's a 50-50 because you have a quiet side too. And
And it
it's a
goes for the
toxic
Toxic.
coming on.
Which
So
is
that could be
massive because
potentially
the
huge.
Gigalith needs to keep no, needs to stay alive and needs to stay healthy to come in this Pokemon over and over again. So with Toxic,
And that's a Silvally water, and yeah, it just gets walled. But that's a defog, and exactly, I was wondering where defog was on this team because I don't see any evident defoggers, and Silvally just carries defog, and yeah, it's just not beating that Ferrothorn with lead seed.
yeah, the
It has
Pharaoh Seed.
flamethrower. I
He
wonder
should
why
have
it didn't go for that.
flamethrowered on the first turn then to
Yeah,
get off
exactly.
more damage because now the Leech Seeds took its toll,
Just
and if he loses this Valley, the rocks are here to stay for Silver's
and
side.
yeah, and now basically Silvally is dead, and you have no has you basically are susceptible to hazards now because Silvally is dead to the next switch in. And yeah, Alza is again a huge threat, but Whimsicott can switch in, risking a toxic again, risking a toxic,
But the
and
Toxic
he misses the
miss,
toxic.
really good for the
Exactly,
Whimsicott.
exactly, because now it will come a switcheroo, a
And this
black
is a
side, which is
really good
huge,
switcheroo again because Pharaoh Seed now getting
getting weakened.
its defense cut and also getting rid of the own Black Sludge, so you don't take the residual damage anymore.
And now it gets a free earth power or whatever. Focus blast, yeah, focus blast, and it gets 2 hit KO. Here's the thing, it's called focus miss for a reason. Does he hit? He does hit. That is huge because now Magmata just gets free hits every time it comes in. We see a toxic spike, and again, this is bad for Omikorio because he's
He
lost
lost
his
his
hazard control.
defogger, so every hazard is here to stay, and this is really, really bad.
And again, Ferocid does not eat because of that essential switcheroo earlier. Now Weezing gets and a crit. I don't know if that mattered, but again, great great turn for Omikorio, but again, those hazards. Next time Whimsicott comes in, it's basically dead. And we see the Quiver Dance Rubombi, not Sash Ebs, which is, I think, common in this tier. I didn't realize that yet. And that's Curse Quagsire, and I don't think Jask will break it. Yup, there's the switch. It's probably going for the Toxic right here. So we can see a switch to the Pharisee.
That Stealth Rock's
That's
honestly a
risky. That's
massive, massive risk
massive
because
risk.
this Quagsire now just.
I wonder what was that bandit? Why wouldn't you go for toxic then? And yep, the Whimsicott is basically dead again to those
Yeah.
hazards. And yep, now the Bombi gets a quiver dance. And let's see
Well,
what's the set of the
it can't really break the Togedemaru though.
I don't know if that was a predict, but that is well played. And if he quiver danced here, yep, he did. He did. And now he gets a kill. Yep, he gets the kill on the ninjas.
Yeah, because Togedemaru just getting chipped down by these spikes, losing the defog
And
against a team with spikes, toxic spikes, and rocks was
yeah, a
just really,
huge
really
read.
tough.
That read on U-turn, the turn was huge because predicting the U-turn, you basically got amazing chip into Gedemaru, and you got a free kill in Ninjas. And now Dark Ops Crafty is gonna do its thing, get a kill,
And
Now
since
Whimsicott
Whimsicott
can't
is
switch in.
so low, it can't come in.
Yeah. And exactly, Magmota
And
doesn't do anything because
this Crafty just unkillable with the 2 months that were still alive. Whimsicott dying to the spikes in the end. So losing this defog so early against a team of spikes, rocks, toxic spikes really put him behind
this
from the
is
get-go.
series of bad predicts and good predicts. We saw the predict on the Silvally going for the multi attack, expecting Silver, who doesn't play the tier, to expect the flamethrower. So, which is again a risky play, and it didn't work out, and they lost their defog, way too risky. The read on the U-turn from Togedemaru, because that gave you a free kill on Ninjas, which could have late game this, maybe potentially if it got some crits. So it got rid of that, weakened to make Togedemaru, and Volkov's Crafty just finishing the game off easily.
Just the residual damage of these hazards in the end coming in clutch. Which shows again how insane hazards are and why heavy duty boots are so good as an item. So, and as we see, this matchup went to a tie overall between the Stakatakas and the Wooloos. So we have two teams, or like four teams, two matchups, going overall to the 4-4 tie, and only a single team was able to claim victory over their
And
opponents.
that was close to
And that was a
regarding that.
5-3, so really close matches overall in the first week. So this was our recap of the first week. What we can expect from the second week will be hopefully more incredible matches, and I hope you are here to watch the recap. Probably without me, but we will not know that because my time zone sucks for this usually.
Yeah. It's tough because this is basically a an Indian IST based tour, and German man is struggling to find his correct timings.
But
Yeah, it's just rough.
we will make sure to also do this for the next week, and then we will
We'll
see.
see this on Dinesh's channel if he is well. If not, you will again see Shwipper with us, and me and Shwipper will be commentating again. Hopefully, send wishes to Dinesh and his channel. I'll put it in the comments below. And yeah, Shwipper, if you'd like to close this off now.
So, thank you all for watching, and maybe I'm here next time, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.